Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Shokugeki no Soma chapter 243. And I'm just gonna start it off by saying, like, on an emotional note, get my words right. And I'm speaking just without any logic getting into it, just on an emotional feel-good note. I really like this chapter because, as you saw in the chapter, it was the culmination of Soma's time in Totsuki. I really like that. And because also Subaru got something that I think is worthwhile too going on with his character. But before we get into the actual chat of the chapter, let me just quickly talk to the few people that commented on the last video. Very quickly, will just thank Think Tank Set 007 for the comment. LOL, haha, dead. As I said, it was Subaru. So I'm right on that one. I'm just bragging a little bit, but it was Subaru. I'm happy that that came true. And MidMat44, thanks for your comment, man. With Saito, I really did want a bit more of an explanation on him, just to understand him better. But like in this chapter, he's just presenting himself as this guy that he's okay giving up everything that he's built up if it means him challenging a stronger opponent, which does open up a more savage side to his agenda, or not agenda, but his like goal at Totsuki. Overall, this ended up being less about Saito's characterization and more about Saito witnessing the guy that was right in front of him. So I don't think we're gonna get much more from the character, which I'm a bit sad about, because like he is one of the Elite 10 that I think was the most underutilized. Because when you look at it, Aizen got really characterized. Nene ended up getting really characterized because in her match she was going up against she was going up against Soma and also having the battle with Ishiki. She was taking on two characters, and because of that she ended up getting a bit more time. When you go into Momo, I don't really need to know more about Momo. Momo's just annoying, so it's not that big of a deal. Tsukasa and Rindo have also just been around so often. Megishima is the only other person that really hasn't been characterized too much, but then he got that extra little bit with Soma, and that was really strong because he was standing for what he believed in. Yeah, Saito was just in this really weird spot. Of all the Elite 10, I really think he's the most inconsequential. And even when you look back to his match with Subaru, his character wasn't really popping out that much. It's a shame because he is a sushi master, as Soma was saying. But anyway, those are pretty much the notes I wanted to make for the commenters. Thank you for commenting, and continuing with the video. So yeah, on the emotional note, I feel really good. Like Ishiki said, this is the culmination of Soma's journey at Totsuki, and then Soma's declaration at the end, where he's talking about, like, you know, he's Soma, he is of the 92nd generation of Totsuki. You know, that was, they designed it to be a powerful moment because you call back to that first, I think chapter 4 it was, and you see that they have the flashback there. I think this is Soma recognizing that he does care more about the school than it just being a stepping stone. It is still a stepping stone for Soma, but the experiences he has there, I do think the value of it. I do think he has pride in being there. So I think that's a nice step forward for Soma. And then when you look at the fight with Saito, how Soma kept using the blades. I know in last chapter we talked about it, that most likely we were going to get the multiple blade metaphor here. And we did. What I did not expect that it was going to take up the majority of the chapter. It doesn't really matter the judging at this point, because this I much rather preferred this visual metaphor for it, because the idea of Soma picking up all the blades, and you know, you see the first shot of it, you recognize the rapier. Sorry, I always get that word mixed up. You recognize the naginata. Those were designs that we had previously. It was cool to see them showing up here. And it was cool to see Soma using it. Now, the most hilarious part of that whole segment is where Soma takes out a gun and shoots Saito with it. I think that was hilarious. But it also showed, like, yeah, Soma wasn't just going for the people that were really good, nor was he just going for Takumi and Megumi's I guess help. He was also infusing things from some of the other people that he had met. And that was really interesting. We're going to talk about what it means for the narrative in a bit, but it was just really interesting that Soma packed all that into one cohesive dish. One other thing is that the thing that the judges did touch on were the aspects that Megumi and Takumi worked on. So I'm not really sure to what degree Hayama's thing and what degree did Yoshino, that's her name, right? Yeah. I'm not sure to what degree Yoshino's methodologies went into Soma's dish, but since we're seeing those swords popping out during the metaphor, we can assume that Soma used something from them. Overall, it was a pretty good thing. And this might be probably the best that we're going to get when it comes to the teamwork aspect of the Regiment de Cuisine. Just the apple butter usage and the 4 cheese usage. Now, how do I feel about that? It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to say. And now we're going to talk some of the logic here. First, let's talk about the way that Saito is taken down. This is a victory that you cannot argue would not happen. Or sorry, let me get this phrasing right. This is a victory that cannot happen outside of the Regiment de Cuisine. At this skill level, Soma at this skill level, he would not be able to win out against Saito had this not been the Regiment de Cuisine. And I'm really interested to see if you guys agree with that or disagree with that. Because what I'm thinking is that you have Saito here. He's tired, and he has to be tired because that's what was established with Rindo and Tsukasa, unless you want to take the road and say that Subaru is lesser than Saito, therefore he would not be as tired out as, say, Rindo or Tsukasa were. But let's assume Saito is fatigued to some degree comparable to those two. And then when you take into account the factor of not the ingredients, the help that Megumi and Takumi left for Soma. When you look at that, I don't think Soma can win without the special conditions presented in the Regiment de Cuisine. Just because this was a hard battle for Soma. Again, we know that Soma was training with Subaru, and we know Subaru was able to beat him down a few times with the whole single sword metaphor. And technically Soma's swords were being broken one after another. It's pretty much this idea that had Soma not had those extra techniques being shoved into his dish, he may not have been able to win. And this is fine, because this is what the Regiment de Cuisine was supposed to do. It was supposed to give the first years a realistic advantage. What I'm thinking, however, is that this may be how far the help, the teamwork aspect may be able to take Soma. Like, I think Soma's about to peak when it comes to getting help from Takumi and Megumi level chefs. I think like maybe help from Ishiki would really pump Soma up, but otherwise I think this is the upper limit that Soma can hit. I don't think he can go far beyond Saito on his own, or I really think like if he's going to try and hit above Saito and say go for Momo, he really is going to need that extra layer of help from Ishiki. At this point, however, let's start talking about the narrative. When you look at what's going on here, you have this big moment. We're getting the culmination of everything Soma's done. We're getting all the flashbacks. We're getting Soma reminiscing. We're getting everyone's dishes being used. Not everyone, but like a lot of people's different techniques being used. His friends are looking at him. You know, this does feel like one of those big moments where the hero is about to win out against the enemy. And it all comes out here. What's gonna happen if we actually go face Tsukasa? What's gonna be the rationale powering Soma at that point? Are we gonna go from, okay, so Soma, he's collected all these techniques, everything that he's done in Totsuki has shaped him, and now in the Tsukasa fight, is it gonna be he's gonna take all those things and make it into one streamlined thing? Is that gonna be the metaphor that we're gonna get in, I guess, the Tsukasa fight, if Soma goes after Tsukasa, right? Is that what we're gonna get? Is it gonna go from this collection of techniques to one ultimate technique of cooking? I don't know. I really don't. Seeing this, my most cynical response is Soma's gonna get throttled. He's gonna get destroyed in whatever round he faces off or he goes into next, and then we're gonna have to witness whatever happens at that point. Because on a certain note, I think Soma's gotten his big victory. Seeing how the authors are gonna try and illustrate the Tsukasa versus Soma conflict, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited. But my most cynical sense right now is that this is it. Soma's gonna get destroyed by whoever he faces. Well, no. If he faces Momo next, he might still pull a victory depending on who's helping him. But I do think the most cynical response, again, he's going to get destroyed if he faces Tsukasa. And I think that'd be good for the character. I think that's okay. Soma's whole thing is that he needs to lose before he can win. I'm totally okay with that. Give him his losses. Speaking of losses, going over to Subaru. So, like I said at the beginning, I'm gonna brag. I thought it was Subaru. It's the crouch. It's the way Subaru crouches. Like the authors really like that crouch, but I really like that because you know, if you're following the videos, you know that one of the big stinks I had was that Subaru was done an injustice, and I was not happy with it. Having this though, having Subaru go in there and show that he cares about his friends and show that he cares about his team, and have him actually like put all those traces to use, I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed that Subaru was destroying Soma with the Saito trace. We know that the trace is imperfect because Saito was able to overcome it with just hardcore technique, but I think having Subaru there and having him be a good enough substitute for Saito, I think that help was, yeah, without a doubt, that was incredible help that Subaru was giving, and seeing that he went up against all of them to try and give them more of an edge, I absolutely respect that, and I'm so happy that the character got to do that. Man, that's so nice, man. And at this point, we could really question like what level is Subaru at, because technically Subaru was beating Soma with Saito's methodology, and Subaru was good enough such that Soma could recognize or get a bigger or a better understanding of Saito's grasp of sushi. So I do wonder what kind of level is Subaru at. We got the confirmation that his dishes in flavor rival, I guess, some of the Elite 10. I mean, just, it's so interesting with Subaru. But I'm so happy that the character got his use there. I'm so happy that we were able to get something worthwhile out of him. And now Soma's won this match. Now the big question is, are we going straight into the fourth match? Because the first day we had 2 matches back to back. I hope that we're going to have the 4th round starting right after this, because this is the best opportunity that we have to screw over Rindo and Tsukasa. Tsukasa said he needed 24 hours, right? He's 23 hours in. If we're imagining that everything's taking place at the same time of the day, he's 23 hours. So technically, he should not be rested, because if he's going to play the 24-hour card, he's going to play such exact numbers, then he's going to have to be still compromised. Well, I'm really hoping, because like, man, our guys need that. Because otherwise, the whole 24-hour window of opportunity that the sacrifices gave the rebels is wasted. Like, you know, biggest tactical mistake in the history of Shokugekis. But we'll have to see. I am excited for the next chapter. Saito's down, Aizen's down. We got Momo, we have Rindo, we have Tsukasa. Is Momo tired out from the Megumi fight? I don't know, man. Should she be? Well, I don't know. I think you're gonna have to like wonder whether or not Megumi's at the level of Kuga and Megishima. And maybe you don't think that's true. And then if you don't think that's true, well, Momo has no reason to be that tired out. It'll be really interesting to see how this is going to go. And like, really, I'm saying this again, but the whole exhaustion thing is just a stupid measurement that we have. That's absolutely stupid. I think it's ridiculous that these people feel that they have to go. And like, Tsukasa's in a room, sitting on a couch, holding his head. Man, come on. No, that whole exhaustion thing was like just some way to justify a victory. But depending on how this flows out, if we just skip the 4th round and put it for the next day, I'm gonna think that's hilarious. What was the point of the exhaustion? But yeah, that was a mini rant. It's just because the exhaustion thing has always been something that I just found funny. Anyway, that's the end of the chapter impression video. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any thoughts down below, and let me know if you're excited for the next bout. I'm gonna make a quick prediction. If we're gonna be throwing in people, we've got Soma, we have Tsukumi, we have Ishiki, we have Erina. I think they want to hold Erina back because Ishiki's already been showing that he can go out for a few rounds. So I would assume, yeah, maybe Ishiki's gonna be the one to go in for the 4th bout, and whoever he faces is gonna be really interesting. I really hope that he faces off against Momo. That's what I'm hoping for. I want to see Soma just beeline straight for Tsukasa. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. Let's leave it there. Till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.